Guys, welcome back to a motivational Sunday, an amazing Sunday, as I'm joined by one of my best friends, I'd say, in the UK, an all round amazing person, content creator, and fantastic individual who, quite frankly, does have the best cookies around. Darkseeker, how are you doing today, man?
I'm really good, thank you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely loud and clear, you're coming in.
Fantastic. So now I need to do my video introduction, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Hello everyone, it's Darkseeker here again. Welcome back for another video.
I absolutely love hearing that every time. I'll be honest, I have your video queued up and ready to watch after stream today. I believe you're discussing Even Shaman, you were saying?
Yeah, so I managed to hit Legend with Even Shaman at the very end of the July season. And it was a bit of a surprise for me because I was at rank 2 Diamond, and most seasons I don't push for Legend because it doesn't interest me anymore. I've hit it a few times in the past. But I thought to myself, I'm at rank 2. Can I hit it? And so it was just a challenge for me in some ways to see how quickly I could do it right at the end of the season. And I played the deck and literally steamrolled through rank 1 Diamond and then into Legend. It was quite unexpected.
Fantastic. Now, were you working with a one-star streak, or did you have the fabled 11-star win streak?
So at the start of the grind, I can't remember how many stars it was. It was quite a lot of stars, and, and it was quick. It was a really quick grind in totality. So I like what Blizzard have done with the ladder system. But I guess overall, it just depends on what motivates you, right? And what interests you in the game. And for me right now, it is just playing really odd decks that are off meta and I can just have fun with.
I think that's like some of the best ways to really get into it too. Like I think you hit the nail on the head when you're motivated and having fun. That's like the best time to really enjoy the game. I mean, I'm not playing too much myself, but that said, I do like to delve into battlegrounds and have some fun. I do enjoy watching my friends' videos and everything and see what they're brewing up. And I have to say, so if you're playing off decks and odd decks, are you playing Baku decks? Slight pun for the odd mana cost.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'm happy to see what has happened over time with Hearthstone. I remember playing it starting out in 2014, just before Naxxramas came out, and it's been 6 years now of this game. And I'm happy to say that I'm still very much motivated by it, in the same way that I started playing World of Warcraft back in 2004, and I played that for about 10 years. And so Blizzard games seem to have a thing where once they bring you in, they keep you in there and sort of hold you hostage almost and don't let you escape and take your money. That seems to be the trait of Blizzard games.
I would sympathize that. World of Warcraft got a hold of me back in 2008. I was a Wrath of the Lich King baby, and it's well, here I am playing World of Warcraft Classics, so I'm still playing.
You're still playing, and
I
you're still
am.
paying Blizzard.
Yeah, $20 a month every day, so I can go pick flowers in Eastern Plaguelands and question my life decisions.
Oh, those are good life. Those are good life decisions, honestly.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. One of my life decisions, my friend, was having you on today so we could have a good discussion on motivation, and I'm excited for
Fantastic.
this.
Fantastic.
I had reached out to Dark about a week or so ago. Dark always is hanging out. He's a big supporter of the community, and I absolutely love his videos I've said it before, and I absolutely love your voice, the calmness, and the mentality you go into when you do your videos. It absolutely hits me every time. It's just always straight to the point, thorough, discussed, and there's always a good laugh. It's good enjoyment, and I think to me that speaks to a level of motivation and enjoyment that comes in the game, but also a motivation and enjoyment that kind of comes to life, which is our topic for today, which is motivation and careers, really. Um, so I don't know if you'd like to just give a little bit of background on yourself, Dark.
Absolutely. So I've done a series of videos a while back, called All About Darkseeker. And in those videos, I've given some insight into myself as to who I am and what motivates me and what I like and what I don't like in life. But I think doing this segment with you, this interview, I guess, with you today, is going to give people a bit more insight into what I'm about and what motivates me. And specifically, in regards to me, so I used to be a teacher, a secondary school teacher here in the UK. And I did that for about 12 years, or working in education in some capacity, whether it was a secondary school teacher, whether it was a teacher trainer. So I was training teachers, new teachers at one point. Um, so that was a significant chunk of my life. And I did that straight out of coming out of university. And then one morning I woke up and I decided I wanted to change and I wanted to do something different. And I handed in my notice at my teaching job and I said, right, I'm going to move on. I didn't have a job to go to. So it was quite exciting. This was 3 years ago.
Wow.
And it was exciting, but it was nerve-wracking at the same time. But I really felt that I needed / wanted to change path, to change career. And it took me a few years to work up the motivation or the courage to do that. But I'm really glad that I did.
I think that speaks a lot to the type of energy that it takes to really do that kind of thing. Because, in life, life gives us change. Sometimes we're open to it, sometimes we're not. And, change takes energy. We talked about a few weeks ago, motivation itself takes energy. And I think that just kind of goes to show the amount of energy it takes to make that kind of decision because it's such a large, impactful one into your life. And I'd say kudos to you for doing that because it sounds like things are going fantastic for you in every aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's important to think about what led to that motivation. There's always a reason, right? Um, with teaching in the UK, I don't know how it is in Canada. I don't know how it is elsewhere in the world, in the US or in the East, or in Europe even. But in the UK, teaching it's a profession where, at least in the current day, people don't last very long in it. There was a point going back to the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, where teaching was considered a job for life. If you became a teacher, you were a teacher for life, and that's what you did for the rest of your career. And a lot of people saw stability in that. And if they enjoyed the act of teaching, it was a good career choice. But nowadays, I think the stats show that teachers here in the UK do not really last more than 3 years. And teachers who spend time training, you have to train for a year, and they leave and they realize it's not for them and they decide to move on. And one of the big problems we have in the UK is retention of teachers. So the government's thrown money at it. They've tried different things. And I think for me, I mean, as I say, I lasted nearly 12 years, which was significant.
Extreme.
But I think for me, I was looking at the landscape. I was looking particularly at government policy and how it was impacting the teaching profession. And I sort of looked ahead to the future and I thought, right, in 10 years, in 20 years, can I see myself doing this? And I think the answer for me was I love teaching. I love the actual teaching. I love working with the students. I love working with my colleagues, but for me, it was a policy thing. It was a government thing, where I was looking at the regulations, the laws, and the policies that were coming down from the very top. And I was thinking to myself, this isn't going to work out for me long term. I don't think I'm going to be enjoying this as much as I should be in the future. And that is what prompted me. That is what motivated me to move on.
I think that's a big thing too, because you kind of realize that this wasn't something that was really gonna. You may have been somewhat happy, but it would have been what really would have given you the happiness. And we touched on a similar kind of point of view before. It was perspective. when something in your life seems kind of off, you need a change of perspective to really look at what you want to do. And I mean, from the sounds of it, you had that by taking a step back, looking at how things in the future were going to be and how that was going to have an impact on you. And I think that kind of foresight and getting into is a big step in how to move forward in things and build up. Like you said, having that factor in to get that motivation to want to do that change for something new.
Yeah, you said something that was really important. You said taking a step back. We often do not take a step back in life. We're so consumed by the minute aspects of our lives. We wake up in the morning, we rush to work, or we rush to college or to school, or whatever it is. We come home, and then there's something that occupies our time at home. Um, in my case, it was, you'd be up at 6:30. I'd be in school by sort of 7:30. So prepping for the day. I'd teach my classes, we'd finish at 3, but then I'd be working, so marking, writing reports, doing all the things that teachers do until about 6. And then I'd go home, I'd have some dinner, something to eat, and then I'd be working again. Um, Teaching, especially the subject that I was teaching and the environment I was teaching in, everything was so open ended. You couldn't do enough, right? There was all that feeling you couldn't do enough, so you'd keep working and keep working and keep doing stuff, and it all made a difference. It was all good, but it could consume you literally to the point where it's 10 at night and you stop and you think, okay, I'll get an hour to myself before bed, so I'll chill out, I'll watch a DVD or watch some Netflix or whatever. And then you fall asleep, you wake up, you do it all over again. And then you're spending time at weekends working. I was going in during holidays, tutoring students. So you become consumed by this day-to-day activity. And because you're so consumed by it, but you can see that you're making a difference, you can see that everything you're doing is having a positive effect, but you don't take that step back and you don't think about other things. You don't think about yourself, and you just carry on. And it's easy to keep going on and on and on. The wheel keeps turning, but you don't take the step back.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they often talk about leads to burnout, right? When you are just so consumed in everything else that's around you, it's great if you're making a change, absolutely, but even differences, even change, even commitment to work, everything in life is a moderation. And if you're not giving yourself time, even in moderation, you're not giving yourself anything at all, and you're just throwing out all the energy, and you're going to burn yourself out to the point where you can't give anything more. There's nothing left to give. There was the story I saw on Facebook a while back. This little girl was looking for the heart mender, which was like a heart doctor, someone to fix her heart because it was so broken. The doctor, the way that the story portrays it, that he meant heart, is he would give a little piece of his heart to someone else's heart in order to reignite it. And you see, all that he's got left in his is just a little bit left, and everyone's got a little piece of him. But he's still keeping that bit for himself while he's helping everyone else. And I think that's just a really touching story, kind of saying it's great to make a difference and great to make a change, but you also need to be in mind you've got to keep something for you, do something for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the job that I do currently, so I work at a university at the moment, not as a lecturer or a professor. I work into the professional services team, so I do bits of HR work, finance, procurement, things of that nature. And it's really, really different to what I used to do as a teacher in that it's more contained. So the expectation is 9 to 5. And if I work beyond 5 o'clock, people start to worry for me, as in my manager and my colleagues. Is everything okay? What can we do to help you? Why are you working past 5? There's very much that concern of you need to look after yourself and you need to chill and take time to relax. And it's taken me some time to break out of my old habits when I was a teacher working those ridiculous hours. Not that I complained about the hours, I was fine with it. But now doing this job for the last 3 years in the same place, it's given me perspective on the fact that A, life is short and I'm getting older. So I don't have that stamina or that strength that maybe I had in my 20s, when I started out in the teaching profession. Um, and B, there's so much more to life than just work. And, it's a wide world out there. There's so much to do, there's so much to enjoy. And I got so much pleasure out of my work, and I still get a lot of pleasure out of my work because the job that I do now, I've basically taken a lot of the skills that I used in teaching and I've applied them in this job that I do. Um, but I've had a lot more balance, which has made me a lot happier.
I think that's a big thing that you just said right there is the balance, and it's great, especially when you're in kind of a job and if you've got X amount of hours and you're noticing your colleagues around you being like, "Is everything okay? Is there anything that can help?" That to me is like a conducive work environment that is positive. That's the kind of
Yeah.
support you're looking for in a team. That's like, "Hey, can we help you?" Because energy feeds off of everyone, and you need it's great to have motivation for yourself and to move forward, but motivation also comes from your colleagues. And if someone's looking out of their way to help you, that in itself is a way of motivation because they're looking to support you and give you the accessibility or things that you may need to better perform so you're not stuck working long hours and potentially going to burn yourself out. So I think that's amazing, honestly.
Yeah. And I think there's an important aspect to consider here, and that is your personality. When you're doing a job, try to find a job that fits with your personality and your mindset is quite important. So my personality is one where I guess I'm incredibly giving just by nature. And it's why I went into teaching straight out of university. I think I look out for others before I look out for myself, and that brings me a level of happiness. So as long as I'm doing a job where that can be the case, where I can be helping others in some way, doesn't matter what that job is. Uh, I think it's something that I'd be happy doing. Um, and I think even if the job doesn't call for it, I would find a way to make that happen. Um, and it's how I find peace on a nightly basis. You do your day, you go to sleep. I sleep very well at night, knowing that I've tried during that day to help make a difference to somebody else.
Yeah, you've given the chance to sort of brighten someone else's day. I'm known in a few communities for saying lines to friends to kind of brighten smiles and everything, and I think the best way that I can put that is your personality is a radiant one that you look to brighten the skies of a person's day in life, just like the sun brightens the morning. You want people to see and feel the happiness that you know exists in there and that everyone should be able to feel. Even if someone's on a gloomy day, you'll go out of their way to make sure that it's maybe not so gloomy. Maybe there is just that sliver of sunshine that kind of puts a smile on their face. I mean, all the time you're going into chat and channels giving people free cookies, and I mean, those are pretty
Yeah.
nice cookies.
Yeah, my only regret is that they can't be real cookies. If I could find a way, if there was like a service out there where if Darkseeker enters someone's Twitch chat and says triple chocolate cookies for everyone, and there's a button that we could press where triple chocolate cookies would literally then be posted in real world out to everyone, I think that would be great. But picking up on this idea of making a difference to somebody else, cheering someone else up, making someone else a bit happier than they were. It's not a hard thing to do for any of us out there. In fact, it's a very easy thing to do. And I think a lot of us do that on a daily basis without realizing it. Whether you are giving somebody else a piece of advice, for example, that helps them, whether you're providing a sympathetic ear to listen to their problems, uh, perhaps you do something for charity, or you partake in a charitable act, or perhaps you give something to someone but with no strings attached, so generosity. Or maybe you're just polite and compassionate and you go out of your way on a daily basis just not to upset people. Whatever it is, I think we all do it on a daily basis. We all do things that make other people happy. um, it's just that sometimes we don't realize we're doing it and we don't give ourselves enough credit for doing it.
Absolutely. It's that talk on the little things in life are what really get us through it, but the only things we're really going to remember are the big things in life that happen. You're not going to remember the day that you maybe held the door open for someone and that was just maybe the little bit of karma that they needed in the morning to put a smile on because maybe they got a flat tire on the way to work and it rained and they didn't quite have an umbrella, but you holding that door open just kind of gave them a little bit of a break. Like I can't stress it more than enough that literally the little things in life are what absolutely make the difference in the day. When I get like a text from a friend or something, that just puts a smile on my face. When I can tell a joke to someone, that puts a smile on my face because they've laughed, and that kind of gives you the motivation and energy to just kind of keep going. And it's one you don't maybe not appreciate or realize that's happening enough because it we recognize big change. We recognize big things in life. You're going to remember when you move, when you switch careers, which are big things. They can be good, they can be negative. Obviously, in this case, like a career change for you was absolutely a positive thing, and that's a big, memorable thing. But just as we remember the big things, we should try and remember the little things as well, because a lot of little things can easily add up to a very big thing.
Absolutely. And I think there is, I don't think it is the little things that make the world go round. We remember the big things, but it is the little things that are out there in large quantity. I guess you'd call it a web of positive energy just spreading out from all of the little things that everyone does for each other. And it's what makes the world go round. It's what makes the world a happier place. And I think if we become more conscious of those little things that we do for other people, and if we can maximize those little things, because often those little things do not take much effort on our part. They do not cost us anything often, and it's something that's within our power to do. So if throughout your day you can think of little things that you can do, small ways that you can either help somebody else or brighten up someone else's day, then I'd say go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, because that feedback on energy that you feed to them is ultimately going to feed itself back to you. And I mean, that's been analyzed through a few different ways. I mean, we often hear of like the karmic cycle, right? If you
Yeah.
do good, good will come back to you. That same principle kind of applies in a book titled The Secret. It's the idea, though, that you put out positive affirmations, a positive aura and energy that's going to attract other positive things back to you. But you need to be careful in what you portray. Let's say not to sound greedy or anything, but we like to live a comfortable life. We always like to make sure that we are secure in our house, our finances, and what we can do. Never want to be without that. That's always a major concern for anyone in life, having four doors and a roof. So you're concerned and you want to make sure that you're able to sustain where you live, maybe going through a rough patch in life. So you put out the affirmation that you want money. That's not maybe the right way to put out that affirmation though, because money is a two-sided coin. Money comes in and money goes out. So you may be putting out the affirmation of money, but that may not be the affirmation to receiving money to help you. That may be the aspect of money for debt, money for bills, money for everything else. So changing that sort of affirmation to be I'm looking for stability. I want the affirmation of stability. I'm going to be confident, comfortable and happy. That's the kind of energy you want to portray out. So it's always like thinking about how things are going to be and what you want to see with them too.
It's fascinating that you mentioned money. Money is a very interesting thing. And you mentioned being comfortable and happy. There is an assumption that the more money you have, the more comfortable you'll be, and thus the happier you will be. And I've seen it over the years within the teaching profession here. You see people striving for promotions, right? If I get that next position up and I make another few £1,000 a year, that's great because now I can spend that money on other things and then that's going to make me happier. Oh, and now I've achieved that position, I'm going to go for the next one. And it's interesting if I look at friends of mine, colleagues over the years that have gone through those positions of promotion, did it really make them happier? Financially, the bank accounts benefited, but were they happier as individuals? They were working much longer hours, taking on so much more stress. does it make them happier? With my current job, I've been doing the same job for 3 years in the same institution. And by and large, I am very, very happy doing that. Um, in institutions here, especially universities, in professional services roles, there's an expectation that you keep going for promotion. So after a year of doing a particular job, you look for an opportunity that's a grade higher, you'll apply for it, you'll get it, and you just keep moving up that ladder. I've stayed in the same role for 3 years, and I think a lot of people find that quite strange. It's like, well, don't you want to apply for that role there? Look, that's a grade high. It pays X amount more. Um, and my answer is no. I am happy in my current role. I'm happy with the money that I'm earning because it makes me comfortable. If I see a role that I think I'd really enjoy and would fit my personality, fit my temperament, and where I think I could really make a difference, then yes, absolutely, I'll apply for that role. But right now, I'm happy. Um, Money as a motivator, I absolutely agree. Money is important. Money does make the world go round. Money does give you that roof over your head. It does put food on the table. It buys you nice things. Money lets me buy Hearthstone packs. Absolutely. Uh, but, but, um, at what point can you be comfortable and happy with the money that you're getting where you're satisfied up to a point rather than obsessing over money and letting it absolutely dominate and perhaps ruin your life?
Right, because at that point, you're not looking for comfort. You're striving out of greed.
Hmm.
And I mean that kind of part of that comes down to like a self-realization, right? So you yourself, you know what makes you happy, comfortable, what you like, and that's the role you're in. You're living it and doing it. I know for me, like engineering makes me happy. I'm very happy in my role. I think in a couple years, I would like a change. I would like to try for something a little bit higher, not so much on the pay scale, but just to change a position because I love a challenge, and I'm very much an individual that after so many years, I do need a change and switch up, and that's just me because that thrives me. I love that throwing myself into a little bit of chaos. It's stressful at the start, but I feed off that chaos to sort of make it organized and bring something out of it. And I think recognizing yourself for what you're looking for and looking for what you want to do is ultimately what you should be at. If you're the person that loves to go through and loves to try a change of position every year to go up a corporate ladder or a university ladder, that is great. That is your energy. It's not for everyone. Someone may be comfortable in the same role. They may do it for 3 years, 5 years, 25 years. I've worked with people in the manufacturing field who have been in the same role for 25 years and they've just loved it because that to them they are happy what they do. They love seeing the stuff comes in. They're not looking for more. They love what they have, and they kind of know that sort of inside of themselves that I don't need extra shiny things to make myself happy. It's nice to buy things. It's nice to buy donuts. Those absolutely do make me happy, and I know they make cookies make you happy. But material doesn't always bring the happiness to keep a steady and motivated life. It's self happiness that kind of ties in. And I think you really hit that in with being in the role. You may have been in it for 3 years, but you love what you do. It ties into your personality, and I think that really speaks to the power of it.
Yeah, I love what I do, and every year that I'm in that role, I find a way to make a difference within that role. I'm lucky in that my role is incredibly varied. I do lots of different things within that role, so I never get bored. Every day is different. Sometimes every hour is different, depending on what's coming through or what needs to be done. And so I am definitely motivated by the job itself. Um, and I guess, yes, everybody has got their own motivation of what makes them happy. Whether you're a person that likes to stay within the same role and find different ways to make that role interesting, or whether you're somebody that likes to move on from one role to another and you enjoy constant change. Whatever makes you happy, pursue it if it's within your power to pursue it.
100%. I mean, that's the other key message there too. Within your power, right? You may be, let's say, I'll use the corporate ladder as an example. You might start in the mailroom and be like, I'm going to be the CEO in a year. I mean, realistically, that's probably not possible because there is a long series of lines and experience and things to gain. But that being said, recognizing that that may be what you want to aim for at the end of the day doesn't mean you can't push for it. It's just having a realistic goal to push to it and keeping in mind the type of motivation and energy and things you need to do to accomplish that goal. It's keeping things in a realistic perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, if you're in the mailroom and you're still in that mailroom after 20 years, that's fine too, because you could be the best damn mailroom operator that there is in that company after 20 years and be really, really good at what you do. And without you, that organization is not going to function because you know the mailroom inside out. So there's no shame in that. And sometimes as a society, we look down on that kind of mindset. Oh, you're still in the mailroom. It's been 20 years. Have you not moved on? It doesn't matter, ultimately. It doesn't matter to anybody else. It should only matter to you. And I think sometimes we have to stop thinking about others in terms of how they view us. We stop obsessing over that and just think about ourselves and look at what's good for us, as opposed to pleasing other people.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, whose opinion matters? Don, Dick, Cherry, Jim, Alaya, Billy Bob, and Whitney down the street. I ran out of names at the end there. Or is your opinion the only one that matters in your life? I mean, we're not in high school. This is a real life kind of thing, and I'll refer to this as a high school mentality, and I don't mean it to sound rude to anyone that is in high school. This is a comparison between being in a school setting environment at a younger age versus being in a adult world and the difference of experiences that you fit in school. The image that you portray is very much influenced by everyone around you. You want to be, and not obviously for everyone, but at school, you are worried about your image because bullying and teasing are very real things that happen in school. I mean, I was bullied for 4 years of my school life, either being overweight because of my buck teeth, mix of different reasons. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. I'm over it and done. But you're worried about experience and how you look to other people versus in the adult world, in our working world, it doesn't matter what Courtney in the office down the room says about you. Like, be happy and comfortable where you're at. Be happy with yourself. Like, self-happiness is the ultimate driving factor in your life and what you're going to do. If you're happy, like, I make cosplays, and I get reactions from some people the odd time being like, you're like 30, dude. Why are you making costumes? I'm like, yo, I can fix my own pants. Can you do that? Yo, I can do my own taxes. How's that going? Like, I've picked. I mean, taxes has nothing to do with cosplay, but I've picked
Still
up.
a skill.
It is still a skill. Like, I have picked up experiences on how to work with thermoplastics and heat guns. Working with a sewing machine. Heck, I can even fix my parents' stuff when it rips. And like, otherwise they'd have to go and take it out and get new stuff. But like, these are skills that I've picked up, and I'm not ashamed of them. I'm happy with my work because it takes time and dedication. And if someone wants to make fun of me for it at this day and age, I mean, fine. Have fun. Where if you're teasing someone at like in your 20s or 30s, then I'm not really sure what you're doing with your life because you should be happy with your own life. But I don't really know. It's weird, right? Like, self-happiness is the biggest key in what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that in this current day and age that we live in, it can be more difficult on that front. So I'm in my 30s right now. And when I grew up, there was no social media. Hell, there was no internet, right? When I was very young, there was no internet. You were lucky if you had a computer at home. You were lucky. But life was more simple because you went to school, you went out with your friends, with your mates, and you talked to them on a phone, on a landline phone. And that was the extent of your social communication. And you had a small circle of friends, usually, a good small circle of friends, and that was it. And then you had your family around you, and that was your life. And then the internet came along, And I remember in 1997, it was dial-up internet where it would literally dial itself in through your phone line with all of the beeps. It was great. And this invention of the internet. Wow, what a wonderful thing. We can all access information now on the World Wide Web. Brilliant. And then broadband came along, and then it was fiber. But as the internet evolved, we started to discover that, we can talk to other people online. There was email, which was revolutionary. And then there was instant messaging, and then there was chat rooms, and now we've got the whole social media explosion that's out there. I look at my life now. I look at the lives of other people. I mean, I'm pretty low key on social media. I in terms of the real world, I have my Darkseeker account, and then I have my real accounts. In terms of my real accounts, I have a very small circle of good friends that I keep. I don't engage in too much activity online in terms of social media. Then I have my Hearthstone activity, which again, I engage with a small circle of good people, yourself being one of them, and I try and keep it all very positive. But I know that out there is so much negativity, so much trolling, and so much unhappiness that is generated through the sphere of social media. And I look at that, and I compare that to when I was growing up, and I'm thinking, gosh, it was all so much more simple when I was a kid compared to how it is now. And for kids that are growing up in this environment, perhaps people in their 20s now, their early 20s, who have grown up in the current online world and won't have had a taste of what it was like before that, how simple things used to be. It's interesting that. I wish that with social media, and it's all links in with expectations, right? We do things on social media, we say things on social media to get a reaction, to please others, to influence others. And I think that we're going so far in that direction that we need to take a step back, take a little bit of restraint, and just ask that question: is it making me happy?
Absolutely. I mean, you kind of just hit the nail on the head for that discussion point there with the fact that when you post something to social media, people are doing it for reaction. Often more than not. I mean, I'll say there's a 5%. Obviously, this is a 100% made up statistic right on the spot. No prior data to this, but let's say 5% of what you actually see on social media is actually put on there with the intent of positiveness. With respect to like statuses on Facebook, more than not, a status is put up on Facebook because someone just wants to feel good. Like I will. It's slightly shameless, you know. I've gone through weight increases and weight decreases. I've had major weight loss where I've managed to lose 50 pounds, and you know, I posted that to Facebook because yes, I was happy and I wanted to share that accomplishment. There are also just times too that I was just feeling kind of sad and I feel like I needed a little bit of a pick me up, so I posted a status that would be like, this sounds pretty cool. I wonder if people are going to think like I'm so awesome. And with that kind of thing, when you look at statuses or things on Facebook, on Twitter, any kind of social media platform, what you see on there is not the total aspect of that person by any stretch. You're seeing just a simple faucet through a tunnel that they've constructed you to see. Remember, like, social media is very much what it is. It's social media. It is a social construct. This is a thing made by people with people using it. You're not seeing the full picture of what goes on in the life. You're seeing a very small amount of what a person may want to see. So if you see someone traveling up a mountain, that doesn't mean they're adventurous. That may just have been a one-time trip. So you have to be careful on what you see and put out and have on there and what to do. But like you touched on, Dark, with respect to social media bringing more together, I think that is one of the stronger aspects, especially with respect to motivation. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now if it wasn't for the internet. Like, we wouldn't be able to interact with everyone and have our positivity talks, pass the things around to each other, go into each other's Twitch channel, Twitch chats, YouTube channels, and everything, and just hype up each other to be the best that we can be. And like it's a pro and con to the internet on both, but there is a strong point to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, if I had never experienced the internet, I would not have started playing World of Warcraft back in 2004. And I met some wonderful people through World of Warcraft. people who I am now friends with in real life. Um, then there was Hearthstone, and I've met you, and I've met a whole range of absolutely wonderful people. For me, the positives have absolutely outweighed any negatives. And I'm grateful for the invention of the internet, for social media, for all of those things. Very, very grateful. But I think as time has progressed, I've taken steps to try and filter out or to control any of the negative influences that may come through it, to block them out, to ignore them, whatever it is, and just to focus on the positives. And I think whenever you're dealing with technology of any kind, it's because, remember, with technology, it's going to be unfiltered, right? There's very little regulation, there's very little control. And I'm not arguing for regulation and control for technology as such. I think people should make that decision to control and regulate for themselves so they're happy using that technology. And I think if you're parents with young kids who are using social media and technology, you need to look out for the welfare of your kids. Absolutely. But I think we do need to control what makes us happy, and just keep that in perspective when it comes to social media.
I absolutely agree. I think that ties back in when we had the discussion about having toxic people in your life. Just as you might cut ties with someone toxic in your life, you have to do the same on the internet. There, I don't do it often, but there has been the odd time, maybe twice, that I can actually count on my fingers, aside from bots, that I've had to ban someone from my channel here on Twitch. And I try not to do it. It's not my thing. I don't like to do it. But if someone is just being an all-around bad apple, for the sake of using any other term that's probably not eloquently put or correct to use, um, that's not the kind of thing that we would want in a community or in positivity or any space. If someone's actively going out there of their way to put people down, cut that out. Like in a Twitch channel, if I'm seeing someone just promoting bad things or name calling or anything, yeah, I'm gonna time them out. I'm gonna ban them. That's not what we're here for. This is we're about motivation and positivity and believing. My whole thing is, like, as you know, we believe. That's it. Like, you believe, you go for it, you go to do it. If you're here to cause a bad time, then I'm sorry. That's not what we're here for. If you want to go cause trouble somewhere else. I don't have the time or the energy to put on toxicity, because my energy I want to spend on positivity. I don't want to immerse my life with toxic. I want that out. I want things to be in a happy place with my friends and things, and accepting that life is just awesome. And that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a small number of Twitch streamers that I follow on a regular basis. You're one of them. There's a few others. But what I have noticed in the in the Twitch chat for those streamers is that there isn't much negativity, because those people that I follow are positive individuals who encourage positive behavior, who encourage positive thinking. And so guess what? They attract other people who either have the same mindset or are looking to move more towards that mindset. And it just generates, it's a domino effect. It just generates more positivity. And that's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely agree. It's so like I mentioned from the book The Secret, it's the positive affirmation, that positive aura that kind of goes out in wanting to draw that in. So I like to exude a positive aura to try and bring positive back. And I mean, that same kind of principle can apply when, like we were talking about with the career change earlier, right? And motivation. If you're looking for change, exude in your life that you want to change. Change starts on any level. Not to say that you need to change careers per se, but if you're looking just to experience different things in life, change up the little things that you do, because the little things, like we said, all add up and make the biggest difference. Maybe instead of that morning cup of coffee you always get at the same coffee shop, maybe try something different. Get one less sugar. Maybe get an Americano instead of a dark roast. Maybe get a triple chocolate cookie and a donut, because you deserve both. Switch it up, have a little fun. And then look to where else you can make little changes to bring a little bit more in, and build up that motivation and energy to ultimately get to where you're looking to go, and just keeping that attitude and that aura around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned about making changes, small, manageable changes. It's interesting to see where a change can lead you, uh, rather than taking your normal route through the office. You walk down a different corridor. You bump into somebody that you wouldn't normally bump into. That leads to a conversation. That leads to an opportunity. That leads to something more. It's interesting how we are creatures of habits, right? I think people in general like structure. They like routine. I know I like structure and routine. They like predictability and they want to know what to expect. And sometimes you can cocoon yourself within that structure, not wanting to change, not wanting to experience anything different because it scares you. But it's not to say that you have to make drastic changes. A small change can lead to an opportunity. A small change can lead you to experiencing something different that is better than what you were experiencing before. And then that leads you on to making a more significant change.
Absolutely. It was scary for me. So I came back to Twitch after like a year long kind of break because work got busy. I wasn't sure when I was going to be moving overseas, which is now on halt because of other things I'm involved in at work and because of COVID. Hopefully by next year it'll get back in, and Dark, you and I can go get a coffee and have a wonderful chocolate chip cookie by this time, maybe later next year if everything works out as it should. Um, but like when I came back to Twitch, like I was streaming Hearthstone, I wasn't having fun with it. I really wasn't enjoying it. I was trying to be positive about it, and I kept it up, but ultimately, like I had to do a switch, right? I literally stopped Hearthstone and I did a 180 to Magic the Gathering Arena, and here I am a few months later. I'm a sponsored content creator with Wizards of the Coast. I'm running a podcast with three of my best friends online. We're engaging in a motivational talk on a Sunday, and I'm enjoying a nice cup of coffee. Like, I would not have expected that change in a relationship and how you and I met through Hearthstone, and changing the perspective of streaming Hearthstone to running into Magic, evolving into becoming a content creator, doing a podcast, and now engaging in motivational self talks on a Sunday, and gaining new perspective and experiences to share with everyone else. Like that, little changes will do it, and it's crazy to see where a change in life will take you. I really can't stress it enough.
So, a few years ago, could you have imagined that you'd be doing what you're doing right now?
No, not at all. A few years ago, I still would have thought I'd be doing the same thing I would have done for work, but 2 years ago, I thought I would still be streaming Hearthstone. I thought maybe things would be a little bit different in my streaming career, and I'm surprised and pleased at where it's gotten to. I don't I don't really have any other way to say it. It's humbling. I When I first started, I was just kind of I had a few friends that just kind of watched me because they were my IRL, and here I am. I've made friends across the globe in different area and things, in different walks of life, and I'm happy and thankful everyone's here. I'm surprised why you guys are here. I don't know if you're here for content or what, but I'm happy, and I'm thankful we're able to have this kind of talk. It means a lot to me because it's new experiences and things in life to open up and share about, and just a new perspective and way to change, and a new way to look at how maybe a change in career, a change in life, a change in path can really affect and put you into a way that, where you belong. I think is kind of the bottom line of where that is. You look for something to where that'll match for you, for a place you belong.
Yeah. Where you belong, that's so important, and we're all taking steps to find that space, that mode of thinking, that sphere of thinking where we are comfortable and happy in a space where we belong. And some of us have found that space and we're happy in that space. And then we realize, okay, maybe we now move out of that space and we look for a different space where we can belong. For some of us, we've yet to find a space at all where we feel we belong. And it's a constant journey of looking for that space, whether that's in the world of online gaming, whether that's in the jobs world, the career world, or whatever it is. But, you know, I think listening to you, and I'm so grateful that I've met you and that I have the privilege of listening to you, because just simply over the last few weeks, listening to your talks on a Sunday has certainly resonated with me, and it's caused me to reflect on my own life. Had I not met you, I would not have had the privilege to listen to you, and maybe that reflection would not have occurred, and I'd be worse off for it. So I'm certainly grateful.
I'm very grateful to have met you too, my friend. Honestly, like I said, just simply listening to your videos at work kind of it gets me through a day of not so much drudgery, but it's very much a very pleasing aspect. I'll tell you, I would not be opposed to like Darkseeker ASMR. Let me put that that way.
Do you know what? You're not the first person to say that.
Really?
There is a thing about my voice. I see. So for me, I don't see what the big deal is. If you listen to my All About Darkseeker videos, I touch on my voice briefly, um, and I mentioned that it's one of the most commented on things over the last 2 or 3 years that I've been doing videos regularly that people mention. And to me, it's just my voice, right? It's the voice I've been given by nature, by God, whatever it is that you want to say has given me my voice. Something out there has given me this voice, and it's the voice that I've got. And to me, it's just a voice. There's nothing special about it. But people keep saying to me, wow, your voice is so relaxing. I just put your videos on and I chill to it, and I know nothing about Hearthstone, but I just want to listen to your voice. I've had that kind of comment before. And look, if me producing my videos with this voice, and by the way, this voice is not an act, it's not an accent that I'm putting on, it is how I speak. If me putting out my videos with this voice is making people happy, then do you know what? That makes me very, very happy too.
I think that speaks a lot. It's just the fact of something that's bringing someone happiness. But I will for real start a Twitter hashtag with hashtag Darkseeker ASMR 2020. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. No, maybe that's my next thing that I look at doing. I branch out into. Who knows?
Life is a funny thing. You never know where it's going to take you or where it's going to end up. It's always a mystery, and that change is always going to give you somewhere new to go, and you just never know quite exactly where it's going to be. I mean, heck, this time next year, like I said, you and I may just be sitting down in a coffee shop having that donut to hang out and that cookie. I may be in another country. Life is open and possible. You may have like a very successful ASMR channel and be like, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Darkseeker ASMR. Today we will engage in the finger tapping perspective.
Yeah, I will have my ASMR channel with millions of views, so I will be an ASMR pro. I'll have quit my job, and we'll be sitting in that cafe eating a triple chocolate cookie, reflecting on what has brought us to that point.
Exactly. See, I love it. And I mean, on like any small change in life will do something unique to you, to give you something different to try.
Is what matters. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Dark, I want to say thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you taking time out of the day to come and do this talk. I hope we can get to this again soon, because I had an absolute blast doing this.
I've absolutely loved this. This has been the absolute highlight of my day. I suppose the highlight of my week. It'll probably be the highlight of my month. This is the first time. The first time that I've done something like this. Up till now, I've just been producing videos, but this is the first time that I've been someone's guest on their stream and actually talked about something. And I've really enjoyed it. I've learnt a lot from this process, and I do hope that everyone out there has enjoyed listening to it.
I know I definitely have, and I will absolutely be having you back, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have been your first. Oh man, guys, how was Dark's first? I don't know how I feel. This is a mix of emotion.
It was an honor, an absolute honor.
It is. I wear it with the highest pride. Again, thank you, though, very much, my friend. We're going to be putting this up on YouTube, so if you'd like, guys, please like, follow, subscribe. Also, be sure to check out Darkseeker's channel. to listen to a fantastically soothing voice, also for amazing Hearthstone content. I will do a shout out in the comment section below for YouTube, and I'll be doing a quick shout out on Twitch for that. And thank you once again, Dark, and I hope we get to do this very soon, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me. Take care.